Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and with me tonight is, of course, the techie with most, is Techie Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing okay. How are you this evening?
I'm pretty good, So what are you drinking? Because this is our first story. I want to kind of talk about this drinking.
Oh, what am I drinking?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Well, I have a sealed with a kiss mocha. Don't know how well you guys are seeing that. Let's see. Let me turn it. There we go. Sealed with a kiss. Got that. He made that for me.
Yeah,
And some peach water.
yeah. So you're trying the peach water.
hmm
Hmm.
I think it'll be awesome in some sweet tea.
Well, there is the peach packet in the peach tea packet.
Mm-mm.
I
No,
think
I've had that one before.
I know you've had that one before, but I think mixing that with the peach syrup and then adding in maybe just a little bit of the watermelon, I think you'd have a lovely Long Island iced tea.
I'm not looking for Long Island iced tea.
Long Island iced tea,
I'm
good.
just I'm just looking for like a little peach hit. See, my problem with like the mixed waters though, or like the water drink mixes, the powdered stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it always hits me with a back taste and I just can't get over it.
Right. Well, and that's
Like,
probably, I think we can get around it.
well, true.
But there's this big TikTok water talk controversy going on.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's the problem? Oh, it's not water. Yes, it is. Oh, it's not. It's whatever. It's not good for you. Really. So the Pepsi that you're wanting me to drink is good for me. Try again.
I don't think.
Try again.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was thinking Pepsi was good for you.
All right. Well,
Like,
you go over to the channels making these comments, and it's like, yeah, they're talking about Pepsi and diet, and they're trying to push. Well, why don't you just drink plain water? Because we're sick of it. Why do
aren't we
anything
all?
plain?
Oh, but no.
So I don't know. And then it's too sweet, so cut it in half and make sure you're mixing it right. If you're following a water recipe, you have to mix it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
we actually had to get you a cup because that was what was throwing off some of the mixes you were finding.
Well, the cup was throwing it off. The way it's mixed is throwing it off.
Oh.
Okay, meaning that if the powder goes in first, the powder goes in first. But it's properly. You put the ice in, you put the water in,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put your flavoring in.
Do we need to get you a giant shaker cup?
No, not yet.
Because I'm like, add some grenadine, and I think you need a bartender setup.
That's kind of what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking what I call West Virginia Sunrise, and it is watermelon, strawberry, great value, crushed pineapple, and 2 shots of peach syrup,
Mm-hmm.
and a half packet of each of those. And it tastes very lovely.
Oh, well, very cool.
Yeah. Um, but no, so that's a new thing. It's a very big thing apparently on TikTok. By the way, let's talk about this. If you don't like a video, don't comment on it. You won't see any more of those videos. That's how you do that.
Yeah.
You can comment
The
on our videos. We love you to engage in our videos. You see us all the time because you want to see us the 4 nights a week we're on.
Well, yes, absolutely. If you actually want to see us,
Yeah.
like, don't just comment to be like, oh, I think the water thing's stupid.
That's fine. You can
Like,
still watch us.
it's fine. You can still watch us, but
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it. It's meeting my water goals. I'm feeling better with
Mhm.
that. Um, So there's that. So what has been hitting your news beat while I run and grab a pack of cigarettes?
Oh, so yeah, interesting one from, well, this is a little while back, but it just started popping in my news feed earlier this week. So you guys might remember David Hogg. He was part of the, or well, he was a victim of the school shooting in, which one was this? That's sad. Never again should there be a moment. Yeah, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
Right.
So yeah. So he popped back up because he apparently mocked self-righteous, insane, and completely out of control Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. This was from February. But yeah, so apparently she took to Twitter, Marjorie Taylor Greene did.
Of course she does. Because she
to
doesn't
complain.
Things.
Well, yeah. To complain that I was attacked in a restaurant tonight by an insane woman and screamed at by her adult son. They had no respect for the restaurant or the staff or the other people dining or people like me who simply have different political views. They are self-righteous, insane, and she goes on.
Right.
Well, this got fun. Or should I say funny?
Right.
Because interesting. David Hogg was basically attacked by her on the streets of DC in much the same way. Not he attacked her, but she attacked him. When he was there to testify about a gun control bill. And so, yes, he called her out.
Right. She continues to attack sane people. I want a clemency exam on this woman, by the way, for those wondering. Yes, I think we need to have we need to make sure that she is sane before serving in office.
Yeah. Well, so his reply was, man, that sucks. I was attacked and screamed at in 2018 by an insane woman named Marjorie Taylor Greene. She had no respect for the privacy of me as an 18-year-old school shooting survivor or my staff. She was self-righteous, insane, and completely out of control. So that hit my news feed this week. I got a giggle.
Good. I'm glad you got a giggle. She's insane.
Yes.
I don't understand why Georgia elected her. Georgians, come on now. You're acting like South Carolinians. You're better than that.
So, yeah, that was the biggest one on my news feed.
Insanity.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just looking because there's just so much that I'm not covering that.
Fair enough.
Because I'm not giving bullshit its platform at this point.
Ow. Sorry. I just had a cigarette malfunction. And burned myself.
Well, the Supreme Court has been up to some tyranny, or let me say, good government.
Oh, what are we up to there?
The Supreme Court sided with a trans girl and against West Virginia officials trying to stop her from playing sports with the girls. It might be somewhat surprising sentence to read about the Republican-controlled court, but it might not be the last word on the state's effort to enforce the ban. This is a victory for Becky. Pepper Jackson is a temporary one for her while legitimately playing out on the vanguard of issues. The state's legislative strategy might have played a part in its temporary laws. this is when the district court issued a preliminary injunction in 2021 allowing Becky to continue her middle school track team. State officials did not appeal it until nearly 18 months after it was in effect. The district court ultimately ruled against Becky before the appellate court issued its own injunction, which the state appealed to the Supreme Court. Still Republican appointed Justice Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, later whom are facing a fresh ethical controversy, dissented from the temporary measure, allowing Becky to continue competing. Alito's dissent for the duo could have pressed battles that here, I'm gonna have to transfer this to you.
Oh, it's like getting a little terse.
Well, it's getting a little too wordy. Like the options of words is amazing.
Yes. All right. So let's see. Where are we at?
We're at West Virginia applicants to the Justice Alito wrote.
All right. So West Virginia's application to the justices, Alito wrote, quote, concerns an important issue that this court is likely to be required to address in the near future. That important issue, as he put it, is whether federal law and the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause can stop states from restricting participation in women's or girls' sports based on genes or physiological or anatomical characteristics. Alito acknowledged the state's litigation delay, but turned his scorn on the appeals court below for enjoining the lawsuit without explanation, which is a bit rich coming from Alito, given the manner in which his GOP majority has wielded the shadow docket with little or no explanation in a host of significant cases. At any rate, despite Becky's lopsided victory Thursday, it is possible that more Republican appointees are sympathetic to Alito and Thomas's position, but just did not think that this temporary order was the venue for joining them and are instead waiting for a bigger ruling in the future to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's from MSNBC. Oh, Samuel. Still not a sentence anyone thinks, or a headline. A headline anyone thinks they'll ever read. Samuel Alito dissents with Clarence Thomas against a transgender girl. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It is news of the weird at this point.
It is, and of course, then we have down in Florida with DeSantis going, I'll kill the Reedy Creek deal, consider hotel tax, tolls for Disney World. Escalating his already a hot feud as Governor Ron DeSantis, who is under investigation. I will remind everyone, he is under investigation. In the question and answer section of Michigan College, DeSantis called to an entertainment giant and the largest single employer in the state a joke. Disney is acting like somehow that they can pull one over on the state, DeSantis says. But now that Disney has reopened this issue, we're not going to void the development agreement they tried to do. We are going to look for things like taxes on hotels. We're going to look for things like tolls on the roads, he said. We're going to look for things like developing some of the properties that district owns. He is irritated, intentionally undoing the Disney deal during a news conference in Oklahoma on Florida, saying the additional legislational actions will take on null the deal and potentially arm the board with the ability to make sure it is run appropriately. Like, dude, do you not understand? They could look at you and close that place and sell it to pennies, or better yet, let it sit. Gizmo, if you rattle that cage one more time, I'm going to take and put you in it. I swear, whoever taught him to rattle gets me. You know,
Oh.
if DeSantis wants accountability, he should urge the legislature to pass combined reporting for corporate income taxes that would prevent corporates from using tax avoiding accounting tricks. Elias said Disney hasn't responded for a comment. The previous assigned statement from Disney is all agreements signed between Disney and the district were appropriate and were discussed and approved in open, noticed public forums in completion with Florida government in the Sunshine Law. Legislators passed a bill in February that stripped the company's control of a special Reedy Creek district after more than 50 years and allowing DeSantis to appoint a board. But the last meeting ongoing in February 8th, its members quietly approved a 30-year development agreement restricting covenants with Disney's design to be in place for decades. The deal were publicly issued in legal notice, and DeSantis hand-picked board members concerned they are estimated left them powerless to manage future developments.
Oh my.
Disney could challenge DeSantis and the legislation in court if they move to void the development agreement on the grounds that they are invalidating an existing contract. A Center of Florida attorney specializing in local government law said if lawmakers single out Disney, the corporation could urge that the action violates the Equal Protection Clause. Ooh, this law is coming up. If legislators are targeting existing contracts and specifically impairing the contract, then this is a constitutional problem. Remember, you Republicans, you wanted to make corporations people. Going back and avoiding contracts would be very difficult to default in court. I think Disney would have much more stronger case. It is also possible the state could urge the agreement wasn't done in accordance to state law. Schumer said he hasn't found anything in his review that the state could use to get the contract voided that he thinks would hold up in court. And if you don't think Disney will do this, you better watch DeSantis. Like, I expect Mickey to come out and run for fucking governor at this point. He'd be a
Well,
better
maybe Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Goofy sounds better.
Right. We'll have, Mickey for president, Goofy for senator. In his speech, Sanders spoke about the scope of his power demonstrated by his move against Disney. Some governors in this country don't like to make decisions, he said. They're hoping everything will kind of just fizzle out before it gets to their desk. That's not me. I mean, I'm very active. Yeah, you are active in your white pump boots. And I wanted to invalidate what the legislator is not moving enough. I will prod and push. I don't know what SOB is going to succeed me, but they aren't going to have anything to do. Oh, yeah, they will rebuild the state and try to calm down the largest employer in your state.
Yeah. No. The idea though at this point, hi Republicans, you really thought it was a good idea to make Disney Corp a person. Let that one sink in for a second. That's a pretty rich person. But two, I don't think once you've made them a person, you want to take them on
right
in court.
Right.
Not on a civil rights violation.
Right.
Because effectively that's where this is going to all come down to.
Right.
No, not a good plan. Not a good life plan. Not a good plan for the state of Florida. Not a good plan for the residents of Florida.
No.
Not
a good plan for their commerce. See, this is what Disney's going to build in California. Disney's going to open parks in, I don't know, Oklahoma. Disney is going to do what it takes to take money out of your state, kill your tourism, because no one goes down there for the beaches anymore. No one goes down there for anything fun. They go for
spring break.
Spring break. Where they had shootings at.
Yeah. good couple of weeks a year, and then you're pretty much done.
Right.
But and that's literally where it's at.
Right.
And that's if you survive the fact that Disney is now left.
Right.
Like, looking at this in a future view, if you shut down Disney,
right,
and so you massively sink the state's economy,
right,
in terms of tax revenues,
right,
that's going to have ripple effects across the state.
Right.
That's not just going to affect Orlando and the greater Disney metro.
Right.
That's going to affect the whole state. Like, your budget's going to plummet.
Right.
So then you turn around, that's going to reduce your ability to because you're getting some free advertising.
Yeah.
If you didn't realize it or not,
mm-hmm.
like the Association of Florida and Disney,
right,
is almost greater than oranges.
Yeah.
Almost greater than oranges.
I was trying to remember, I think it's called the, remember when Tammy Faye and, Prostitute Man opened up a theme park?
What, Jerry Falwell?
Yeah, no, her husband.
Jim Baker.
Jim Baker.
I don't know where Jerry Falwell came in my head at.
Well, he's the one that stole the network away from him.
Well, yeah. The rest of the story.
Yeah.
So yes. So anyway, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker
opened Heritage Park.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Heritage Park. Let me give me. Yeah, Heritage USA. They opened it up. It is sitting there, still in bankruptcy court, by the way.
Oh God!
Wasting away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wasting away. Disney has the money to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Disney has the money to shut down and not blink. Disney has the money to open another theme park in another state. Are you nuts?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the reality is you're not going to have the resources to take them on.
No.
Because for most communities, a Walmart deciding to peace out
mm-hmm.
is bad enough.
Right.
It's developed real estate, but it's not developed real estate that most businesses are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like having an old Pizza Hut. You can do whatever you want to
right.
the building, but everyone's going to know it's still a Pizza Hut.
Right.
Or it used to be a Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still going to look like a Pizza Hut.
Right.
What the hell do you think you're going to go in and do at Disney?
Yeah, don't.
That's going to not look like Disney.
Right.
Like, considering that entire theme park,
mm-hmm.
Mickey Mouse ears are everywhere.
Well, considering that they don't even have to open the park, they don't have to sell the land. They own the land.
Mm-hmm.
They can just pick up operation and move somewhere else and let it sit there.
Well, but the state can come through and condemn it. Again, that's going to be a long-term legal challenge, and by the time you get it condemned, it's going to be a disaster area.
Exactly.
Because again, Disney lawyers are going to fight you for a very long time.
Well,
just to make a point.
Right. Well, images. Let's see if we've got any up-to-date images of Heritage Park that we can use.
Well, and that's on top of the fact that Disney
mm-hmm.
is more than just Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they already have elements of Disney that are abandoned.
Right.
Like, that have already basically been taken over and are a complete disaster area.
Right.
You don't see those. You don't get to go to those. And thankfully, much like the rest of Disney,
right. This
is all contained within the park system.
Right.
If they don't want you to go there, you can't get there.
Exactly.
So welcome to Disney. Like, good luck. And that's another part of it is, again, this is not like a state park where you can just go take an RV
mm-hmm.
or a four-wheeler,
right,
and go through the park.
Right.
It is a very intricate system. It is an entire town. All of the resources of a town exist within Disney. Pardon?
As a large park, they can easily look at it and go, that's cute. We can shut down, we can pay our property taxes that are negotiated in a contract. We can stop running your municipal areas. We can shut down your water. You want to run the water center, go for it. You go for it, because we are no longer going to be using or paying that bill. Guess what? You want to raise hotel taxes? That's cute, because Disney owns the hotels. Disney has become everything there.
Oh, but here's what you don't realize. When I said Disney was a town and all of the elements of it, Disney is a town and has all the elements of it.
Right.
They have their own power generation. They're not reliant on the state of Florida for power generation. Quite the opposite, actually. That power generator feeds parts of Florida. They turn it off, you're going to have a real bad day. If I remember correctly, they also have water rights.
Right.
Because they have their own water system.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, basically Disney has first rights on that water, and then it feeds out into municipal systems surrounding Disney.
Right.
They can shut that down.
Right.
Like they are their own police department. They have their own mouse care medical center. Like Disney is an entire town. Like it is effectively a theme park that is functioning like an entire town.
Right.
With hotels and long-term stayability.
Right.
I believe there's even some property for permanent residents, if I remember right.
Right.
Not to mention there's the whole Disney education experience, and that's a whole other ball of wax.
Right.
But you lose all those students.
Right.
Because that's for hospitality, hospitality management degrees. And a whole other set of taxes and fees and money coming into the state, because if I remember right, those are those educational opportunities fall under the accreditation for federal money.
Right.
But forget that for a second. But no, you have a college, a hotel system. If I remember correctly, I do believe there is real estate.
Right.
As in, you can buy a house at Disney.
Right.
It's insane, but you can do it.
Right.
But then you have this whole underground network system for all the administrative.
Right. Furthermore,
so
they're going to pay. Florida has to pay $1 billion to Disney.
Okay.
Because they dissolved the special district.
Oh, that's their disillusionment clause?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Is that per year or is that in total?
That's in total. They owe Disney $1 billion in bonds.
Ouch.
Okay.
Oh, in bonds?
In bonds.
Damn, Walt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole. Love it, but you're an asshole.
Yep.
Because $1
billion in debt.
Yeah.
Now,
so they're going to make a whole lot more than that.
Right.
On the debt service.
Yep. And then we go on to a little bit more of that. They're currently paying about $6.6 billion into Florida. $6.6 billion. So what is Florida's GDP?
Oh, their GDP?
Yep. Is 1.7 trillion in 2022.
So that's going to be roughly 3%.
4%.
Ah, there we go.
4%. So yeah, you could lose it very quickly.
Well, that's for one company, though. That doesn't even talk about all the... Because I would say, much like mining in West Virginia, there's a lot of cottage industries that specifically supply Disney. And that's just Disney proper. Again, that's everything labeled Disney directly.
Exactly. And then
That doesn't count because Disney did a whole thing like that. The power generation.
uh-huh.
That's a whole separate company.
Mm-hmm.
I believe again, if I'm right about the water thing, that's a whole separate company.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have Disney anywhere on it.
Right.
So yeah, and then there's going to be businesses, because God knows you drive towards the park, you're going to find souvenir shops.
Yep. All the
Um,
cottage, but there's souvenir shops, there's restaurants, all that.
that all support the path to Disney.
Right.
That are gonna. There's no reason to go to fucking Orlando.
Right.
Why would you go to Orlando?
Right.
Like, then you're going to see all the major retailers pull out.
Right.
Because again, no one's coming to Orlando.
Right.
Why would you go to fucking Orlando?
Right.
There's no Disney.
Right.
I believe that will probably just about shut down the airport.
Yeah.
Just about shut down the airport.
Right.
It'll start looking like a municipal airfield.
Right.
2 or 3 flights a week.
Right.
Some private planes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying. Things to think about, Florida.
Yeah.
Things to think about.
A lot of things to think about there. All right, guys, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about a murder.
Ooh.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and as a certified spiritual life coach and shadow practitioner, I have thrown together everything that I have learned to develop a program that works for healing our shadow self and focusing on how we're going to heal ourselves for the future. I work with different types of energy work, such as EFT, TFT, and EFT energy, Reiki, access bars, and power forms. I've put them all together to create my own system that works. We also work with the tarot and the oracle. So I'm not just an energy worker and a healer, I'm a psychic as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, find out all about me, and book with me on there. I love you guys, and I will see you out there.
Welcome back, goblins! My name is Jason, and I am the host of the Esoteric Book Club, a podcast that examines titles on the magical, paranormal, the mysterious, and the strange. I release 2 episodes a month in which I review books on esoteric topics, recap news of the weird, and conduct interviews with authors, practitioners, and experiencers. The Esoteric Book Club can be found on every major podcast service or can be streamed directly from esotericbookclub.org.
Hi, I'm Aeson Knight. I've been working as a psychic for more than 20 years. I was born with psychic gifts at the age of 3. And with that, I'm able to help you with your love. Relationships get very complicated. I help you understand what's going on, where it's headed, where your next love is, what the lesson is, and how to improve that. I also work in career and dealing with career fields and different job opportunities and things you would like to experience in your life. I use the tarot. My favorite deck is the Gilded Tarot. That's what I normally grab. But I also read angel cards. I also read Ascended Master cards. And I use astrology and numerology in your readings. All that tied in together with my clairvoyant skills, I'm able to get in there and answer your important questions quickly, clearly, and fast. I look forward to talking to you. You have a great day.
All right, welcome back. And you can do that over at aesonnight.com. Or anywhere else. Just feed my name into Google. If that's why it doesn't say a brand, you can just feed my name into Google.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, coming in from the Independent, I'm going to let you take this one, but it's very earth shaking.
Yeah, so Cash App founder killed. Latest, Bob Lee stabbing leads chased by San Francisco police, but still no suspects. Cash App CEO Bob Lee was discovered near the Rincon Hill area of San Francisco with fatal stab wounds. So San Francisco police say they are chasing down unspecified leads in the fatal stabbing of Cash App founder Bob Lee as the search for his killer continues. Gruesome details continue to emerge about the murder, which reportedly took place during an early morning mugging. But authorities have not said anything about being close to arresting a suspect. San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins told ABC7 that anytime we have somebody who has committed murder, we should all be concerned if they are out and about on our streets. That is why San Francisco Police Department is working so hard to solve this case. Unfortunately, this is one that's going to take time to solve. Mr. Lee was found mortally wounded outside a luxury residential building near Rincon Hill at 2:35 a.m. on Tuesday, after bystanders allegedly failed to help the tech mogul as he looked for help. The case has sparked fresh outrage over crime in the city, with friends revealing that Mr. Lee had recently relocated to Miami for that reason. He did comment on San Francisco deteriorating, a former MMA fighter and friend of Mr. Lee, Jake Shields, told News Nation. So, yeah. Now, there are some things there about, so is it a random attack? The San Francisco Police Department said in a statement that Lee was found with 2 stab wounds to the chest in downtown San Francisco between Soma and the financial district, a block from Google's San Francisco headquarters. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. It does look like it was a random attack.
They don't know.
Well, they're not sure, but...
Right. They're not sure if it was random or targeted. There was some comments. I'm looking at, it's called the Main Street Homicide police statement, where Lee isn't named, but, they did render aid and summon medical assistance. The victim was transported to local hospital, life-threatening injuries. What I find different is he is an MMA fighter. Now, most MMA fighters can handle this, but we are going to go ahead and give the tip line. It is 14155754444. You are in San Francisco area, because we do have listeners in that area, and you have any information, even though you think it is useless, go ahead and send it out. This is a developing story we will be keeping an eye on.
Yes. That's kind of... It's got to be very upsetting to Cash App in and of itself, the company, right, the service, and people using it. I'm just interested to see, because if I remember correctly, isn't Cash App a traded company, or is it still private?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it must still be private. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure if Cash App had made it to being a publicly traded company yet.
It is. It's under Block Inc.
Ah, it's under Block Inc.
Right.
So, where are they?
It's SQ as its ticket symbol.
Ah, there it is. So it actually is trading up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
Okay.
That's the kind of news and that typically rattles investors.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that they are trending up, although they are down for the last 5 days, down for the month, though they are up for the 6 month. So
right.
It looks like there's a little back and forth on that one.
Right. Yeah. But the stock is the same stock that it's owned by, like PayPal, Venmo, Block, which owns Cash App, boomed in 2020, making more people beginning to send money digitally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, but yeah, no, that's just an unfortunate story and an unfortunate thing, especially for San Francisco,
mm-hmm.
to get the reputation that it's becoming a new murder capital.
Right.
That regardless of whether this was a directed attack or a random attack,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that
Right.
someone so prominent and just blocks away from Google headquarters,
Right.
could get murdered.
Right.
It's just astonishing. I can't see that doing anything good for San Francisco.
Right.
Because that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and it's totally nuts.
Yeah. I mean, probably not the same level, but very much rings sort of in the realm of Versace.
Right.
Being killed in the middle of Miami?
Yeah.
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 It's just things your brain just goes, what? Like
right.
It's like getting murdered in Times Square. It's like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like, there's too many people around. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. And then let's cover this one from the Times.
Okay.
I'm debating on this because it's such a hot button developing issue.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh yes, that is still developing. So yes, from Time. Oh, I can't pay for you, Time. I refuse to pay for you, actually. So a weekend with a Memphis drag queen as Tennessee tries to restrict her art. So Kaylee Clark is wearing royal blue. It's a snug fishtailed floor-length gown with cascading layers of electric blue ruffles at Clark's shoulders, with just enough of a train and sequins to serve some drama. But that's not what seems to draw some of the crowd to stand inches from the stage, nor is it her blonde wig with dark roots, hot curled and hairsprayed to stay closer to heaven, or her bejeweled fingers. The audience members stand to offer tribute to the performer, sometimes known as the Diamond Doll. It's a Saturday in mid-March, about a half hour before midnight, and inside the confines of Drew's Bar, a gay pub open under different names since the late 1960s, the Boom Boom Effect drag show is well underway. But where other performers have shimmied, Clark steps forward, then back, in the very spot where other performers will land a kick split and back bend in a leotard and over-the-knee boots. Clark stands like a queen, back straight, head high, heels and toes together, just the way somebody's southern grandmother would advise. When Clark accepts a patron's dollar, she grasps their hand. She makes eye contact. She leaves the sense that the donor has had a moment in the sun. So it's also in a way jarring that Clark is lip syncing a rendition of Four Non-Blondes' What's Up, a song about an uneasy sense of concurrent crisis and surface calm. For Clark, a Memphis drag queen approaching her 22nd year on the stage, it is a strange and unsettling moment. It's been just over a fortnight since Tennessee lawmakers, a legislature dominated by white male Republican boomers, passed a first-in-the-nation law requiring regulating drag performances. The legislation, which was supposed to go into effect on April 1st, but was temporarily blocked on March 31st by a federal judge, creates, quote, an offense for a person who engages in an adult cabaret performance on public property or in a location where the adult cabaret performance could be viewed by a person who is not an adult. It applies to topless dancers, go-go dancers, exotic dancers, strippers, male or female impersonators who provide entertainment that appeals to a prurient interest. But while supporters cite a need to protect children from what they describe as a sexualized threat, opponents worry the policy will unleash a new era of monitoring with prosecutorial and police discretion reminiscent of a time when homosexuality and many acts of gender nonconformity were considered criminal. This week, a trial on the law's constitutionality was set for May 22nd.
Yep. And this will not be the only one. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and very much sounds like West Virginia's version of the bill as well.
It is. It is. And, West Virginians, I believe it's stalled.
Oh, is it stalled? It's hard to keep up. It's been a very
It's been
interesting.
a large attack.
Yes. Yeah. So just to quote it, so from the bill in West Virginia, quote, it's a criminal offense for a person to engage in an adult cabaret performance on public property or in a location where the adult cabaret performance could be viewed by a person who is a minor. Adult cabaret performance means a performance in a location other than an adult cabaret that features topless dancers, go-go dancers, strippers, male or female impersonators who provide entertainment that appeals to the prurient interest or similar entertainers, regardless of whether or not perform for consideration. Consideration meaning money. That's the West Virginia version of the bill.
Right.
That's insane. Like just the which, I mean, I know it's all describing the same thing, but the similarity of language.
It's photocopied. It literally is photocopied from one state to another.
Pretty much. So yeah, it's Senate Bill. What is this? 253.
Yep.
Senate Bill 253.
And it's sitting in judicial committee. Owners told eyewitnesses the season isn't over, and there are other methods besides head on.
Which I think is more worrisome.
Right.
Because more than likely that's going to start becoming the adult bookstore laws.
Right.
And either modifying those to include, drag performers, drag shows, etc. And all that goes with that, because like operating an adult bookstore in the state of West Virginia is difficult.
Right.
Opening one is even harder.
Right.
Because there are a number of laws surrounding that, and some of them are insane. Like you cannot open one, is what it amounts to.
Yeah. The last action was returned to the Secretary of Senate, putting a joint ruling 56.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't look for them to give up on this one. I just look for it to come back.
Right.
Over and over and over again.
Right. And it'll keep coming back until, unfortunately, we get some things yet. We get some rulings from the Supreme Court. We get some rulings. We get the boomers out of our Senate. There was recently a post or a publication. Well, a rally in Tennessee. And I found the text of the rally interesting. What I mean by that is what was being chanted. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Excuse me.
Now, granted, they've thrown out 3 members of the Tennessee Senate. And those were looking for legal action for that. But this rally had an interesting quote. You ban books, you ban drag queens, but we got children in body bags.
Oh, yes.
Shaking.
Pardon?
I find that a little shaking.
But very true. Like you're banning drag performers, you're banning trans athletes, you're banning everything, but you have no problem with kids in body bags. You will not approach gun legislation. You will not approach making schools safer. You just go, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like their panini response, you know, for most, you know, businesses was to tell their employees, good luck with that.
Right.
So, yeah.
And also, they had a little problem with teachers.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Call to action, call out sick. This is an old labor tactic. Good job, union. Call out sick. Let's use our teachers' voices and demand gun reform now. This went on the 6th at 8 p.m. in the legislature's plaza. Apparently, they had a lot of teachers just taking the day off.
Sick. They were sick.
They were sick. I would be interested to see a work stoppage. I would be interested in seeing, I don't know, Tennessee's leading lady to go, you know what? We're closing the park. I don't need the money. I done shown I don't need the money. I'm going to be paying everybody for a year, and we're closing the park until Tennessee lifts the drag ban.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would be horrific.
Oh, I think that would be insane watching them lose their minds.
I'm just wondering, did Tennessee do the same? Oh, they did. Yeah. So, like West Virginia bans teacher strikes.
Uh-huh.
Tennessee also bans. They're illegal for
well,
teachers.
They may be illegal, but they cannot. But it goes against wage and hour.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to do this with nurses. It didn't work.
Right. Well, actually, with nurses, the last thing they pulled was trying to force them to basically. Not only could they not strike, they couldn't quit.
Right.
Like they were trying to force nurses to continue working against their will.
Right.
Which, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you cannot enforce slavery.
Hmm?
You've got something over from Wisconsin. What are these morons doing?
So speaking of Dolly, so Wisconsin school bans Miley Dolly duet from class concert. So this was about a week ago on March 27th. Madison, Wisconsin administrators at a Wisconsin elementary school stopped a first grade class from performing a Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton duet promoting LGBTQ acceptance because the song, quote, could be perceived as controversial. Students at Hayer Elementary School in Waukesha. Oh, come on. We just had to have that over a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the correct pronunciation. Anyway, had prepared a rendition of Rainbow Land for their spring concert, but school officials struck the song from the lineup last week. Parents in the district say the decision was made because the song encourages LGBTQ acceptance and references rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
Superintendent James Siebert, who did not immediately return a call on Monday, confirmed to Fox. Pardon?
He had to check with legal to cover his bigotry. But anyhow, continue.
Yeah. Confirmed to Fox 6 that administrators had removed Rainbow Land from the first grade concert because it might not be appropriate for the age and maturity level of the students. He also cited a school board policy against raising controversial issues in classrooms. Siebert has previously prohibited rainbows and pride flags from being displayed in the city's classrooms and suspended the school district's equity and diversity work in 2021.
Right.
Quote, let's all dig down deep inside, brush the judgment and fear aside, the song from Cyrus's 2017 album Younger Now goes. Living in a rainbow land where you and I go hand in hand, oh, I'd be lying if I said this was fine, all the hurt and the hate going on here. Mm-hmm. First grade teacher Melissa Temple said she chose the song because its message seemed universal and sweet. The class concert's theme was the world and included other songs such as Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles and What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. Oh, my students were just devastated. They really liked this song, and we had already begun singing it, Temple said Monday. Administrators also initially banned the song Rainbow Connection from the Muppets, but later reversed that decision, according to Temple. Parents have been angered by the song's removal, Temple said, but she was more concerned about what the ban and other district policies against expressing LGBTQ support meant for students. Quote, these confusing messages about rainbows are ultimately creating a culture that seems unsafe towards queer people, she said. Spokespersons for Parton and Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus did not immediately respond to emails on Monday asking the artist's thoughts on the ban. Wisconsin school board races, including in the town, have become increasingly partisan in recent years. Republicans saw big gains across the state school board races in 2022 and have used the positions to challenge policies from rules about transgender kids to COVID-19 restrictions.
Yes. Again, vote in your school board elections. They are useless politicians. Replace them. So I went ahead and pulled up the lyrics because I'm like, let's find the LGBT references here. So let's take a moment and go through this before we go to break. It won't take long, I promise, guys. All right, here you go. Here's your lyric. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to send it that way. Here, just leave me in you know where. I'm like, I don't remember Dolly doing a gay song. I don't remember her talking about any gay tones. She doesn't normally do politicism. You know, that's why I'm doubting that my call for her to suspend Dolly World for a year until the Republicans can get their shit together will probably go on deaf ears.
I'm trying to find all the gay references. I'm not having any luck in it.
Me either. I mean, the closest living in Rainbow Land where you and I can go hand in hand, I'd be lying if I said that was fine. All the hurt and hate going on here. We are rainbows, you and me, every color, every hue, every shining through. Together, we can start living in Rainbow Land. Living in Rainbow Land where you and I go hand in hand together. Let's do it together. Chase's dreams forever. I'm going to be there. Going to be a greener land. Every rainbow, you and me. Every color, every hue. Let it shine together. We start living in Rainbow Land.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes on like that.
Yeah, if anything, it's on skin tone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a song from Dolly Parton. It's not like we're sitting here expecting lyrics that are going to be like, you know, obscene, inappropriate. I mean, the worst she's done in her career is you know, it's a double entendre.
Well, double entendre.
But even at that
form.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Is like that's usually as close as Dolly Parton gets.
Right.
You know, she doesn't really do body.
Right. She doesn't do outlandish either. That's why I'm like, no. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. So I'm going to let your son out. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be asking if you're an asshole.
All right.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic, and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces. Is he cheating? Is she cheating? Whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships. And I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen. My extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvann.com. That's TracyVann.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to rowantempleoflight@gmail.com or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you there.
Hi, welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
So what you think of the new breaks? You like them?
I'm liking them.
Good. Let's find out if you're an asshole tonight.
All right. And I found because it is Mountain Bears, I found a poly one.
Awesome.
It's a little older. It's a few months old, but I think it's a valid point worth talking about. So would I be the asshole for passing on a dinner with my poly partner's parents? Good afternoon, all. A bit of a unique situation here. I, male 26, have been in a poly relationship with 2 other men for about a year now, of which they were already dating for around 6 years before I joined them. They are A, male 29, and B, male 31, and it's been an amazing year. However, given the nature of the relationship, it's been very tricky to know who to and when to disclose our romantic relationship, especially to close family members. A's parents live fairly far away, about a 9-hour drive, and I'll be meeting them for the first time this weekend, likely in about 4 hours, actually. They are unaware that I'm dating their son and am part of a 3-person relationship with him and his original partner. I'm rather excited to say hello. However, I realize that because we're aiming to keep things a secret right now, that for this weekend, I will likely be playing the role of platonic roommate as opposed to partner. For this reason, I'm leaning towards finding my own thing to do for a lot of the weekend. A, on the other hand, would very much like for me to meet his parents. As secret partner or not, I am still his partner. I've aired my grievances about having to repress part of myself for the weekend, which generally has come across fine and is understood. However, we are all expecting to go for a dinner tonight. A is adamant I attend, since it will be an important first impression, while I'm considering the fact that his parents may find it odd for a roommate to join for a dinner where they will likely want to catch up with their son and his boyfriend. I've considered giving him a firm no to going to dinner and making plans elsewhere, likely just going somewhere to play board games with friends, but I don't really want to sour his night with his family and start the weekend on a negative foot. As far as B's opinion on the matter, he fully understands both sides and empathizes with me being unable to treat them like partners. I think I should note that it's not like I'm a secret to everyone. Our entire friend group knows it, as do local sports teams that all three of us play on. So I'm not being totally hidden away, just from the parents.
Okay. This one is going to sound bad. Yes. Well, one, I think everyone should. Two, I wouldn't be doing this. We didn't do this. I don't play these games. We just don't. You know, Mama Knight knows what goes on. Mama Knight's just rolled her eyes and went, okay, and then now has found a favorite son-in-law.
Yeah, well, yes.
What's your viewpoint?
I don't. Here's my thing. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think keeping it secret is a little bit of a stretch in the use of the word secret.
Right.
It's not that it's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
It is more so that, like, are you comfortable with this being something you discuss with your parents?
Right.
I think everyone has to make that choice for themselves, as well as your partners.
Right.
Or partners.
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't just like, oh, hi, here's the person I'm dating. This is, oh, hi, by the way,
right.
You know how I was with one person? Well, I'm still with them, and we're now dating a third person.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into that. One, that's a second coming out as poly, which I don't think anyone should be forced to do.
Right.
Any more than they should be forced to come out in the first place. So it is a secondary closet door.
Right.
I don't have a problem with people, and especially in the environment that we live in general, wanting to, wait.
Right.
But here's the thing. It looks like within their relationship, their person relationship, there are already 3 ideas on the subject. Right. One who's adamant that you're there, but don't tell them. One who would prefer to tell them or not be there. And a third who goes, I see both of you. I see both of your opinions. I understand both your opinions. I can go either way.
Right.
That's basically what they're experiencing here. So I have more problems with the fact that their partner is wanting to be very adamant in the situation. In terms of, I want you to meet my parents, spend time with my parents, but I want you to do it while playing a role that isn't who you are. And by the way, you're going to have to spend all weekend pretending to be my friend,
right,
not my partner, while here making a good impression on my parents.
Right.
I have problems with that. So
right.
I don't think there's anyone shitty here. I think it's unfortunately a rough situation to know what is best.
Right.
And so there's no real ability to get it wrong per se, but I do think you do have to be a little more considerate of yourself, your partners, and what they're, what you're asking them to do, and whether or not that's reasonable.
Right.
And I think it's a little hard for someone to spend a week, at least a weekend, pretending to not be in a relationship with someone while in their own home.
Exactly.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't want to do that willingly,
Right.
which it sounds like to some degree, he's excited to meet his in-laws,
Mm-hmm.
just not excited about like, okay, but then I have to pretend to be your roommate.
Right.
Versus the partner whose parents are coming is like, I want you to meet my parents and pretend to be my roommate, and I don't see why you should have a problem with this.
Right.
And it's like, no, I think you both really, and the last 4 hours is a horrible time to have to do it, and probably well past now.
Right.
But the last 4 hours is a rough time to choose to have that debate as to what is best.
Right.
So I don't know. It sounds like OP is looking for vindication.
Right.
Because 4 hours was not enough time to post this online and get any useful information from anyone.
No, not at all.
I mean, I doubt the first 4 hours brought them anything. Actually, they didn't get much to begin with.
No, it took about 3. Well, it took a good bit.
Yeah.
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 And I find that, in all the parents I've dealt with, and believe me, I have, I say I have an army of moms, I also have an army of mom-in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
If you act natural, they act natural.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't act natural, they don't act natural.
Well, and I think there's some, form of mirroring that goes on in any situation,
Mm-hmm.
because that's fundamentally the so to speak, psychological trick.
Right.
In any situation where you're putting someone into, that when you put people into a situation that's unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and may, be ambiguous for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. I don't know how to act. If you project
Mm-hmm.
confidence and so forth, you get it in return.
Right.
Versus if you act like it's a dirty secret, they're going to act like you did something wrong.
Exactly.
So fair enough on that one. I don't know. Neither one's getting what they want, so it's almost a compromise.
Right.
It's almost a compromise.
Right.
It's just, yeah. And really, was there any follow-up as to like what happened?
There hasn't been. There's been commentary, that it needed to be an at-home situation.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's brought up in the future, then I'll keep it in mind, not something to do in a private space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I think it should be done private. Of course, I don't think there needs to be a conversation. You're not there that often. You act natural. You do your thing.
Yeah, it's still hard though.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're that can alter and change everything about two people's dynamic.
Right.
That, like, that can change sleeping situations. That can change how two people talk to each other and interact. And, there's going to be very little intimacy. And I don't mean sex. I just mean like intimate touching.
Right.
That's not going to like set off a parent radar of what the hell's going on here. Why are you cheating on your boyfriend?
Right.
To either partner.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be problematic. I just don't like the dishonesty. Sorry, it looks like lying to me.
I mean, again, I'm not opposed to people waiting, but I think there's more honest ways to wait.
Right.
I'll grant you that there's more honest ways to wait. I think OP had the right idea. is if we're not going to rip the Band-Aid off,
Right.
then why am I here?
Right.
Like, it would be easier for everyone involved if I played the true part of a roommate.
Right.
Instead of third wheel.
Right.
And just got out of Dodge for a couple of days. Like, meet the parents, say hi to the parents.
Right.
Great to meet you, parents. And get out of Dodge for a couple of days. That would make more sense. I'm with OP on that. That would make more sense.
Right. Apparently very into sports, OP. Very, very into sports.
Oh, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah. Looks like another video game fanatic. Also, very active Reddit user. But OP, come on. We need an update.
We need an update.
Anyhow, moving on to poly advice.
Yes. So, struggling with feelings of worthlessness after my boyfriend had a threesome with strangers while we were on vacation together. Hi all, I am dating a guy and I really like him. We were open in terms of our relationship and we have explicitly spoken about it being okay for us to sleep with other people and have romantic interest in other people. We have been talking and visiting each other for about 6 months. This week, I decided to come and visit him in his town. I got an Airbnb for a week, a car rental, and planned a bunch of cute stuff for us to do. Yesterday, I was feeling a little sick with allergies and stressed with some ongoing work stuff, as well as dealing with a chronic illness. I told him I was going to be having a bit of a chill night, and he said that he was just going to go hang out with a friend. We had plans to get together today at noon, but he didn't come over until 3 and took an hour-long shower. We ended up doing nothing the entire day. He told me about how he had met a cute couple at the bar while I was sick at home, and that he went out and got drunk and had his first threesome with them. While these were total strangers, he almost didn't tell me. I was worried about where he was all night, and I was feeling very lonely and left out. He never called to invite me. He never thought of bringing his partner into the mix. We had talked about having a threesome together before, and it was something I really was interested in, given the right people. But what really hurts me is that I spent $1,000 and a great deal of time and effort to seek out intimacy with someone for him to turn around and become intimate without me. I hate myself for feeling so sick all the time and being so insecure and feeling so needy. I understand that I don't want to be everyone and everything for everyone, but this was our special time together and I don't really feel special.
I'm going to let you take a shot at this one first.
Okay. I think this is another one that you almost have to work backwards.
Right.
And it's like, so you ended up not feeling special after spending $1,000 to go visit your boyfriend that you're in an open relationship with, and you are already staying somewhere else for this visit.
Right.
Okay. And you so you get sick. He decided to, he met a couple, I believe, and decided to go out for a night of drinking.
Well, he went out for a night of drinking.
Yeah.
Met a couple at the bar.
Right. Met a couple for the bar, at the bar during a night of drinking.
Right.
Which I would think would be something that, since you're living separately and you're in an open relationship, is just like any other Thursday night, Friday night, whatever night it is.
Right.
I struggle to believe that he's done anything totally out of bounds here.
I don't think he's running anything out of bounds either.
Yeah.
In my viewpoint. I also, she throws in chronic illness.
Yeah.
And this gets me. Is when people use it as a crutch. Oh, I have a chronic illness. Yes, you have a chronic illness. You told him you were sick, i.e., go away in his mind. Leave me alone. Go do your own thing. I'm just going to stay home, deal with some work stuff, and basically do nothing. It's
Yeah.
what you said that you were going to do.
Yeah, you literally said, I told him I was going to be having a bit of a chill night, and he said he was just going to go hang out with a friend.
Right. I'm not seeing the base problem here. What I'm seeing the base problem is that you made agreements, you made liabilities. You didn't say, look, while I'm in town this week, it's only us two. Nobody else is playing games here. Which is unfair to do, especially if he has other relationships going on, which is most likely, if he's an active poly male. Although he says first threesome, so I'm questioning where we're at with that. I would expect that to already have happened.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's easier to find individuals than to find like a couple that you're interested in both.
Right.
That's why they call it unicorn hunting for a reason.
Right. Or, dragon hunting.
Yes.
Depending on which one you're deciding to take on that day.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand you being in your feelings, but also it's something that, I'm learning to do is manage expectations. And I'm not talking about manage expectations for people. I'm talking about managing your own expectations. What can you logically get done in a 0 day or an empty day? What can you logically expect from your partner to do during your 0 date with you?
Well, and I think that's the bigger issue. Though Shannon brings up, sounds like they were upset because their partner did something without them that they wanted to try and be in control of the situation. I think that's a part of it. I think it's the other part of it is you wanted something from your partner that you didn't explicitly ask for, that you actually explicitly, effectively implied that you didn't want or didn't need or weren't expecting.
Right.
And now you're upset because you didn't get any of the things you wanted. That you can probably communicated the threesome, which if you're adding two people to two people, that's no longer a threesome.
Right.
So that's a totally different situation.
Right. That's a foursome. But notice how she labeled that.
Mm-hmm.
About the threesome with the right person.
Right.
That's control who the right person is for you, for your boyfriend, for everyone else.
Well, I don't even have a problem with that. It basically is you wanted this to be something that the two of you had.
Right.
Was this threesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still have that. Like, he didn't take anything away from you.
Right.
He went and became a single part of a threesome with a couple. That's different.
Yeah.
That's like my part one. Part two, I'm sorry you're dealing with chronic illness, but again, it looks like you did everything to say, I'm fine, you go out, I'm good, do whatever you want, I'm just going to sit here at the house.
Yeah.
But then you got mad because while you were getting what you said you wanted, which was to just take a chill night and, that's it.
Right.
And okay, honey, you go off and go hang out with a friend, I don't care.
Which apparently you didn't mean, because you do care.
You wanted something totally different. You wanted him to come be supportive. Or you're just mad at the situation and think that, a good partner,
mm-hmm.
and I put that in air quotes because that is a road to disaster.
Right.
A good partner would have known
mm-hmm.
to stay at home.
Right.
Or instead of going out and doing something really fun,
mm-hmm.
should have at best gone out with their friend and been not unhappy, miserable, but not had a really good time.
Right. Yeah. This is what I don't get, and what I really, it annoys me in some poly situations that I've seen, mostly on Reddit, is they label these connections, they label these relationships open poly. They say that one thing, but then they get upset about another. Like, where's your negotiation skills?
Where's your ability? Like, where's the work you were supposed to have done on being codependent?
Right.
Because here's a newsflash for everyone: codependency and poly don't work together very well.
No.
You get this. You get this.
Yeah, you get this insanity. And also saying one thing and meaning another. You don't get both.
No, if you told him to go out, you should have done so with the expectation. And I'm a big fan of the worst case scenario. I really, truly am. Like, say what you mean, and when you say it, don't expect it to be, oh, I'm just going to go have a boring night with my friend. So, okay, I'll give you permission for that.
Right.
Sure, honey, you go out and have, and just hang out with your friend. That's fine.
Right.
With the expectation it's going to be another boring night at a bar and just nothing happens. No, you start with, like, what is the best thing that can happen?
Right.
And then, are you okay with that? And should you be okay with that?
Right.
Like, if your partner's going to go out, there's any number of things that could happen.
Well, there's any number of things that can happen, but there's also that statement of, I don't need you tonight.
Right. Like, you let him off the hook. You didn't say, what I really need is for you to rub my feet and tell me how amazing I am, because I feel really bad because of my chronic illness and, my allergies and everything else. And I just really like a night alone with you. If you mean that, please say that.
Yeah.
I don't think your boyfriend's going to mind.
No, your boyfriend's going to jump at the chance for that. But on the other side of that, and, it's kind of like when you had your neck surgery. My life didn't stop.
No.
We kept rolling and rocking and balancing, and you got your neck surgery. We took care of you. We ran the businesses. Everything kept moving.
You went to an event.
Yeah.
And I was literally still laying here taking pain meds and, like, hi, this was just a few years ago. You know how hard pain meds are to get. That's not a long script. So this is in the early days after my surgery.
Right.
And no, I was like, you're going to the event. Like, pack your, because you were like, oh, I shouldn't go because, you're all laid up from surgery and this is really bad timing. And I'm going to feel guilty and blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, put your shit in a bag, get in the car, and go to the event.
Right.
I'm fine. There's nothing you can do here.
Right.
But watch me sleep.
Which was entertaining in itself.
It was, until I figured out that, and I'll admit to it freely, the doctor's directions for my medication were bullshit.
Right.
So we modified those, and because otherwise, if I took it as written, I spent the better part of 2 days taking the prescription as written, and I kept doing that, almost falling asleep and then startling awake. Do you know what you want to not do when you have just had neck surgery?
I don't know, maybe not
startle awake.
Anything.
Startle awake is a bad situation to be in.
Right.
So anyway, so all you were going to be able to do for me here was watch me sleep.
Right.
Maybe bring me another glass of water and, hand me my bottle of pills and, fluff my pillow.
Right.
I don't need any of those things. I'm fine without those things. I can manage without those things. We have the invisible assistant here who is just as capable of fetching water pills and, microwaving soup.
Right.
As the next person.
Right. I don't know. He makes us a little thinner than I do, but anyhow. Point being, yes.
go.
that you didn't need me. And, so when you didn't need me, I went and done other things. I went to an event. I continued touring at the time. Just FYI, this was 2019. I continued dating. I continued everything. We just made sure that, you weren't alone.
Was it 2019?
It was 2019.
Wow. Yeah, 'cause I got my neck fixed right
2019.
before the panini.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished physical therapy in the middle of a panini.
Yes, you did.
That was horrible in and of itself. That's why I've chosen to forget parts of it.
That's fine. You can choose to forget anything you want that's non-valid. But what I'm saying here is everybody kept moving on. I have my 0 days. We believe my RA under control for the moment. There are days that I am like, nah, dude, you're going to have to go to Walmart. Someone needs to set me up for the night, to get everything into control that I need it in so that I can work. And I'm just going to push my energy into what benefits us most, which is work. You want to go, hang out with John or Susie or whoever, go for it. I just can't.
Fair enough. And it's not like I'm crude and I'm just going to be like, oh, you're down. I'm running away now.
Right.
Like, no, and I don't think that's what happened with OP and her boyfriend here either. Is, oh, you're down. I'm going to run away and go play. No, that's what you're trying to make it sound like, but no. As in, OP is trying to make it sound like that is what happened. And it's like, no, it isn't. It really isn't. You allowed this. You created this.
You told him to go do it.
You need to own it.
Yeah.
So no, and it wasn't like work was the only thing you got to do while I was recovering from neck surgery.
Oh, no.
I told you to go have fun and do whatever you want.
Right.
Like, hi, Disney. Speaking of Disneyland is closed. This theme park ride is shut down for maintenance. Okay. There's not much I can do.
Right.
If every time I move, it sort of hurts.
Right.
Like sitting hurts, laying down hurts, rolling over in bed hurts. God forbid I turn my head for any reason.
Exactly.
No.
Right.
Please go have fun with other people. I don't want to deal with that disaster.
Right.
Like, hi, I'm fine over here. Thanks.
Right.
Just keep the liquids coming my direction.
Exactly.
Solid food again.
But that's the point. But what is going on here and what she's done is, if you had gotten upset
over what
after saying that,
I didn't even get upset when I got woken up.
I know.
I just thought I hallucinated it and then found it really cool when I was like, not a hallucination? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's where I was at. Hey, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda.
But yeah, Shannon summed it up best. Oh my God, you can't read my mind. You're not the one for me. You're going to go through a lot of frogs if that's your criterion for Prince Charming, is you can read my mind and know that when I tell you to go do something,
right,
I mean, don't go do that and take care of me.
Right.
That's horrible Prince Charming criterion.
Well, not only that, that's impossible Prince Charming criteria. Okay? You're not going to find Prince Charming. You're not going to find, shield yielding priestess charming in any of that.
No.
Okay? And this should be a very good lesson to you in polyamory dating.
Mm-hmm.
See what you mean what you say.
Yeah. Otherwise, it ends horribly.
Well, otherwise, you end up being all hurt and bothered. And it's like, no, you don't get that right.
Nope.
You know,
explicitly sad.
You said go. he went, you got the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I liken it to if you get sick and, you have tickets to a concert.
Mm-hmm.
And you expect it to just be another boring concert because you have the worst seats in the house. So you just go on to the concert. I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then randomly your partner goes to the concert. Through a miracle situation, someone has decided that if you're sitting in row 13, seat 33, you have magically won a backstage pass.
Right.
And your partner gets to go backstage and meet the artist
Mm-hmm.
after the show. And they go to dinner and they have amazing photo op and blah, blah, blah. All these wonderful things happen, gets their home phone number, now they know some superstar.
Right.
Would you be mad at your partner for going on to the concert you told them to go to? Or are you really mad at yourself for not really saying what you meant
Mm-hmm.
and being upset that you didn't get to have that opportunity?
Right.
I think it's the latter, not the former, and I think you got to be honest about it.
Right.
And go, this is what I'm really mad about.
Right. You're really mad that you didn't set your expectations. You're really mad that you chose to get an expensive place to stay in and spend money that apparently you don't have to see your partner. And you're mad that you either A, didn't manage your allergies and, pre-warn, oh, I get this and I get that, so we need to manage this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're mad that, he had an experience that sounds like you've had before, but he hadn't.
Or that you want.
Right.
It's sort of like my analogy of going to the concert and getting the backstage pass
Right.
and meeting the person. Like, if that's what you really like, oh my God, that's amazing, I want to do that.
Uh-huh.
As most people who go to a concert would, and the best you can typically come up with is like, what are the cheapest tickets? Like, I'll sit behind a column.
Right.
Like, I'm good. $50. Okay, cool. I'll sit in the nosebleeds on tier 2 and in the corner.
Right.
Next to the projector dude and all the heat from the lamp.
Right.
Because I just want to go to this concert. So to magically have that turn into a backstage pass and everything you could ever dream of wanting.
Right. But I don't know. That would have to be an amazing threesome. And it doesn't sound like it was if he's just drifting that day. And that's what he's basically doing. That's what I call it, is when you're just trying to recover from the vulnerability overload.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that considered here, what's your advice?
I think start with a conversation, and in it, you need to start that by realizing what your real problem is,
Mm-hmm.
what you're really upset over,
Mm-hmm.
and then negotiate what you want and expect from this relationship if it's something different than what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you reflect on this, you should realize that you got what you wanted.
Right.
So did he.
Mm-hmm.
And really neither of you did anything wrong.
Right.
But unfortunately, someone got the golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't, because you were sick and at home.
And it's not the only ticket to the factory. That's the other part of this. Is they're acting like it'll never happen again. Please.
No, it'll happen again. Like most things in life are repeatable, or something better will come along that you want more.
Right.
This one event, this one thing
Mm-hmm.
that arguably sounded like something you really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
is it really something that you can't live without?
Right.
That you're just going to be upset in 50 years about?
Right.
Probably not.
No.
Other good things will happen to you. Other things will come along that are better than.
Right.
And you won't even remember this or care about it. It'll be his story, not yours.
Right.
You know, and you'll get some emotional sympathy from your friends for the night that you were sick and your boyfriend went out and had this amazing threesome
Uh-huh.
while you were at home trying to feel better.
Right. The other part of this little story that got me was his first threesome, and it's like, you gotta let him practice on somebody else.
True.
Like
Like,
what?
well, here's the thing, though, and kind of going back to my concert and backstage pass analogy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that you have the whole thing in your head correct.
Right.
I mean, you're not giving us enough detail to know what happened during that threesome.
Mm-hmm.
You've made it in your head, at least, I believe, a lot better. Like, it's perfect and everything went perfect and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been over in less than 5 minutes, and this couple is like, my God, get out. You know, and it really wasn't anything special. I don't think you're leaving any room for that. Like,
right.
you've assumed that if he got the thing you wanted,
mm-hmm.
then it must have been everything you wanted.
Right.
Is that true? Like, I could want a backstage pass and that would be my dream, and you get it, and I like, oh my God, you're so lucky you got the backstage pass.
Right.
And your version of getting the backstage pass is you meet them for 5 seconds, someone snaps a camera 3 inches from your face with a flash on, and you've had too much to drink at the concert, so you barfed all over the performer.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't think anyone's telling that story. Like, that's nope.
Right. Or it was for an artist that I've already met.
For an artist you've already met. For an artist you really don't like, isn't your like, aww.
Right. I mean, meeting Dottie would be amazing. Meeting, you know, Nickelback would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Meeting, however, Katy Perry. Katie's cute. She's a nice conversationalist. But nothing to write home about. Like, mm-hmm. You know, she's a very busy artist. And while she's lovely, it's like Pink, meeting Pink. It's a conversation. It's a nice conversation, but it's nothing to write home about. What you have for dinner, great. How's the kids? Wonderful. You know, you move on.
Mm-hmm. It's not what you think, oh my God, this is what I want in my life. This is the thing.
Right.
It's the, oh, well, I met Katy Perry and that was kind of cool. And, I know a celebrity.
She put on 15 pounds, and having to get Sonya for her dresses. Coco is going to be so mad at her. But it is what it is. It's not this, what's the word I'm looking for here? Magnitudable situation. Life-changing situation. That's
well, and I think OP's jumped to a lot of conclusions.
Right.
And it sounds like that may be a thing for OP.
Right.
Is just to assume, like, it sounds like this is filled with a lot of black and white thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's either perfect or it's horrible.
Right.
It's either everything you hoped and dreamed of, or, oh my God, it was a total disaster.
Right.
I think temper your expectations. If it wasn't the first thing out of his mouth when he came back from it,
right,
probably was not the hopes and dream maker that you've created.
Well, not only that, but the other part of that is realizing that he wasn't even going to bring it up. So let me break you down into male species of thought. if he wasn't even going to bring it up, it probably didn't hit his top 5 list. Maybe not even his top 10 list of things I've done last week.
It's just a bucket list at that point. It's like, check.
It's like I went to DC, I drove through DC, yay, went to DC, check. Type situation here, girl. So I would be questioning, the bigger tell here will be if the couple asked him back on whether it was even worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you go running your witch hazel up and getting yourself all upset, realize what you negotiated, what you agreed to, and then question how it has to do with your self-worth, because that's your thing, is struggling with self-worth. And it has nothing to do with self-worth. It has everything to do with communication. It has everything to do with setting and being honest with your expectations.
Well, plus Brenda brings up a point. If she went, then everything wouldn't be the same as that night was, so it may have all gone differently.
Yeah.
It's like we always tell people, each decision changes the situation and outcome. And that's very true. And I also call it rose-tinted glasses.
Yep.
And the problem with that, hindsight thing is you always think, like, there's the classic question, if you could go back in time, would you kill Hitler? And you assume that killing Hitler, like say you baby Adolf in a crib, you smother the little bastard.
Right.
Great. You've prevented the Holocaust. You've changed the course of history for the better. 6 million Jews do not die. 1 million plus other people do not die. The world totally changes. World War II never happens at all. World War I doesn't happen.
Right.
It's all a great and wonderful sunshiny outlook of what it means if you were to go kill Hitler as a baby.
Well, see, here's the bigger debate, though, as if it's even possible, because he was mortally injured in World War One. He was shot by a British soldier in Austria in World War One. That's the whole reason that he was not on the front lines in World War One, and was in Vienna and met the guy that actually made Hitler, because few people realize that Hitler was made; he wasn't born.
Basically, he wasn't born this horrible monster that went on to do these things. He lived a portion of his life, and then,
right,
because of life situations, he was selected, built up, and pointed in a direction.
Right, like creating a bomb, basically. And a lot of people do not realize those facts of history when they're debating this. Well, if I can go back in time and kill Hitler, would it still happen? Hitler's actually not the being you need to kill.
True. Like, killing Hitler, stopping the Holocaust, two different concepts.
Yeah.
Two very different concepts.
Yeah.
They are apart.
Yeah.
Because this is more so an ideological movement that happened to a person that promoted a person into a position of power,
right,
that in turn led to a horrible series of tragic events that are abominable.
Right.
That, but then again, even with that, you assume if you were to remove the person that created Hitler, or would be able to create another Hitler person, that you stop all these horrible things, and the world is a good place for it.
Right.
Again, is that even true?
Well,
I'm not saying that at no point do I ever want to get quoted as saying that the Holocaust was a wonderful thing and we should be grateful for it.
No.
I'm also not saying that by its very definition that not having the Holocaust would in turn make the world a beautiful, wonderful place with, like wonderful ideas and all these wonderful things.
Right.
It would fundamentally mean none of the people impacted by the Holocaust would have ever been impacted by the Holocaust. It would also mean that we would not be using the word Holocaust because no such thing exists.
Right.
That would not be a conceptual thing we could explain to people. You would sound insane to talk about someone rising to power in such a way that they eventually, capture and put in concentration camps a large group of their population and then exterminate them.
Right.
The concept would make you sound like you're batshit crazy.
Right.
Like, who would ever do such a thing?
Right.
How would a country's people allow such a thing?
Right.
Again, the bystander effect that we now know of as part of the Holocaust. That it's not happening to me. I'm grateful for that. I'll ignore what these horrible people are doing.
Exactly. But
so,
but see, this is the parts of history that isn't taught. For those that are wanting a tag, go look up the real society. It will be a very eye-opening experience if you haven't studied untaught history. Because Hitler was made. He was taught, he was designed, he was communicated, he was put into power by a number of people with the ability to understand how to manipulate the society.
Mm-hmm.
And we even see it here in the part like the U.S., refusing Jewish refugees and setting the ship out of the port of the New York is never talked about. We always talk about how we defeated Hitler. Well, for a time there was debate on whether we were going to defeat him or be with him. And it was around the late 30s, early 40s when he was coming to power.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that, society, likes to cover and sweep underneath the rug. So when you get into the debates of what if you go back and kill Hitler, well, that's fine, but you got to kill these other 5 people to even get to possibly changing the timeline, including and what's interesting is the gentleman that shot Hitler in World War I is also believed to be the colonel that turned around and freed France.
Mm-hmm.
So which do you want there? You want to free France, or you want to kill a useless, I think he was like first commander. Well, not even that. He was like a lieutenant.
Yeah. Well, my whole point being, though, that, there's this rosy outcome scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That the world minus the Holocaust is a wonderful, beautiful place. Is it, though? Does it potentially mean that, no, a Holocaust does not occur in, Germany in the 30s and 40s? Like that event itself doesn't occur. Does it mean that some other dictator in some other country in some other time
Mm-hmm.
has an original or is created in such a way as to have this original idea that they name something else entirely that then goes on to potentially be more devastating or maybe not as devastating,
right?
But occurs and then it becomes a new thing,
right?
That fundamentally that we learned in a sense from the Holocaust to never let that happen again anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
For any reason whatsoever. This is a horrible thing to do. And all the red flags towards it occurring. And so the Holocaust itself stopped any future Holocaust.
But has it, though?
I want to say yes. I think that's an event bad enough in history that it's like, no, we don't ever do that again.
Right.
It's sort of like the Cold War era.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea that we're going to weaponize countries to a point that you're going to obliterate the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we can move to that again. Like, I think it becomes you either obliterate the world or you move on.
Right.
Like, in essence, finding nuclear armament prevented a future development of a thing that completely obliterates the world. Because we already have one, why do you keep looking for a second one?
Well, they keep looking for a better one. That's the problem.
Well, but I think it also has had benefit in finding better ways to avoid the point in which we obliterate the world to
Right.
solve our problems.
Well, true, but at the same time we're still saying people not teaching history, so they don't get the lesson. They don't understand why, there's a Geneva Convention and what that Geneva Convention actually means. And then we have courts that we have countries not enforcing the Geneva Convention or the international courts. Otherwise, we would see Putin in handcuffs right now. We would see Trump in handcuffs in a international prison right now. Of course, the U.S. done a lot of half-hearted stuff when it came to the the ending of the Second World War. Operation Paperclip for one of them.
Right.
So it is what it is.
But it is an interesting thought experiment.
It is. It's a great thought experiment. It's a wonderful thought experiment for people to actually play out. Kind of like the thought experiment. Hello, file. If I see you just open for some unknown reason.
Pardon?
I just had a window that I tried to get open like 2 hours ago pop up.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's helpful.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great thought experiment to learn the theory that, our hindsight of decisions that we've made in our life. And, if I'd only known then what I knew now, and, if I had done this instead of that, my whole life would have been better. Would it, though? You think it would. You think it would. I am sure there, and again, I am in no way discouraging people from addiction recovery, nor am I encouraging drug use with this. But a lot of people have this moment where if they had never done drugs, their life would have turned out so much better.
Right.
I think it would have turned out so much different.
Right.
Better is subjective.
Right.
Better can not always be better.
Correct. But, it's kind of like if, some things I think the universe will not allow humans to avoid. Going to happen one way or another. Society is going to learn this lesson. It's kind of like if you look at the development of BMW. No. Yeah, it is the development of BMWs during the World War II. And why they are built so much stronger. And it was because of the assassination. If he, and the whole idea there was and this is why, normally in Europe you see the officials driving in BMWs, is if he had been in his official car that was not a convertible, then there would not have been an assassination, so that would not have given room for the start of the aggressions.
Well, and there's a lot of events. In addition, like Brenda would not own her Jeep.
Right.
We wouldn't know what a Jeep is because we would have never needed a Jeep.
Right.
Why would we have developed one?
Right.
Again, nothing that came out of the Holocaust makes the Holocaust worth it. Never, ever would I ever say. But these are changes in the world that would occur.
Right.
Jeep wouldn't exist. That wouldn't be a thing. No one would want a Jeep. Why would you? You don't know what that is. That's not a thing.
Right. And that is actually General Patton.
Pardon?
He designed, General, is it Patton or Patterson? One of the two. Designed the Jeep. They got sick and tired of everything the military was buying. So they sat down with paper and pen and sculpted out from what they had in their mind, what they wanted the Army vehicle.
What this vehicle needed to do.
Right.
You need to be able to do this. You need to be able to go here. You need to be able to do these things. We can't buy a car off the market.
Right.
Yeah. Without, as Shannon points out, without World War II, we wouldn't have come out of the Depression when we did.
Right. We actually could have deeper into the Depression.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing. You wouldn't be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. You would not have In God We Trust on money.
Right.
That came out of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, World War II / the Cold War. It's kind of an overlap.
Well, we didn't get the Cold War until World War II when we were debating over who got the spoils of war.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There is an overlap on that one. The pledge is on the World War II side. The In God We Trust is out of the Cold War.
Right.
Yeah.
So, these are things in history that we will deal with over and over again until we start teaching our children proper history and stop what I call whitewashing it. And yes, I'm using the term correctly. It means to cover up the dirty details.
Mm-hmm. Make it all pretty and sanitary.
Right. Which is what has occurred continually in history. Like, the Virile Society, you'll find that in No Texas history book.
Mm-hmm.
The mention of secret societies is in No Texas book because then it starts bringing up questions about where, my daddy's a Mason. Why is he a Mason? Well, my daddy does this. Why is he this?
Oh, yeah. So Shannon says, my kids still find out facts you wouldn't believe and learned that the Nazis were putting on parades in Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
You're in the U.S. Yeah.
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 Weird things. So Shannon goes on, they just stare slack-jawed and ask me what was wrong with people. What was wrong with the world was the magnitude of this had so far exceeded, I think, the ability to even know what one does in this situation. Plus, there was a brief period. I don't want to say the Nazi Party seemed harmless. That's not true. I think there was an obvious potential for harm. I think there was a point, though, where sort of like being a Tea Party Republican.
Right.
No one who is a Tea Party Republican saw the idea of January 6th riot as being the future. It was, we want an anti-establishment conservative party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want this totally different, kind of wild, kind of crazy, shake 'em up Republican Party.
Right.
No one foresaw, and everyone was like, y'all are flipping crazy.
Right.
And we just kind of all, laughed and, went, okay, this is nuts. This fucking Alaska chick is going to fucking make us laugh. She's not going to be elected president.
She came close.
She came closer than one would have hoped, but
yeah.
But nowhere did we see that and go, what's going to happen next, right? There's going to be a riot at the Capitol.
Right.
They're not in X years' time, over a decade. If I remember roughly where that was at, because that was 2003?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so almost 2 decades at that point. Nowhere did anyone think in a couple of decades this is going to turn into a flippant riot at a Capitol wanting to invalidate the results of a federal presidential election.
Well, here's an interesting thing, though. Here's a real interesting thing. Okay, this is 2023. During the 20s, they were fighting for the woman's right to vote. Now we're fighting for the trans woman's right to exist.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
That's where we are, humans.
It seems so slow.
Right.
In comparison. But also the point being is sometimes it's the little shit.
Yeah.
It's not the big shit. It's the little shit that that mounts and grows and becomes a thing. And then, and that's kind of what I'm saying with the Nazi Party is originally it didn't start out, okay, yeah, these people are a little off kilter, but they seemed, I don't know, not necessarily harmless, but they're in over their heads. They're going to fuck this up. They can't possibly do this.
Right.
Much like many of us would have sat and looked at the Tea Party Republicans and been like, yeah, that's cute, y'all. Y'all Qaeda, go have fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we said crap like that.
Yeah.
And then January 6th occurred, and it's like, holy shit, how did we get from here to there?
Well, we got from here to there by ignoring the alt-right faith movements. We got there by ignoring the Jerry Falwells as, oh, he's just a crazy man with a suit coat. We get there, and that even ties back into some deeper, movements of him taking over the PRN, i.e. the 700 Club, and using those assets to influence the Southern Baptists. And the congressional move with that. The lack of literacy in this country being at such an alarming rate that drag queens have to get up off their normal routine of life and go read to your children so they'll at least be able to pass the standard pass the standard reading exam that your Republican governors pressed through the Board of Education to sanction and try to control the method of education of your students. And no, this isn't conspiracy. This is fact after fact after fact of one choice equals another choice that causes another effect. That your liberals, what you classify as liberals, keep trying to pick up, clean up, take care of, clean up, fix this debt, fix that debt, fix this, fix that, and getting rebuked every time they do it.
Well, Shannon also points out the Nazis were promoting the idea of blonde-haired, blue-eyed superior blonde-haired, blue-eyed superior race that appealed to the races. Part of it. Here's the weird part, and another, fun things they don't teach you in history class. This wasn't even really a new novel concept, nor was it an obscure one.
Right.
At the time, eugenics was considered a legitimate idea.
Right.
That we were going to, literally top scientific minds of the early 1900s thought we could breed out, like you would do with, horses or dogs or whatever, defect.
Right.
That we were going to breed out mental health problems. We were going to breed out all these things, these undesirable characteristics
and traits
that they had established, that we were just going to selectively breed our population and develop a higher being.
Right.
And this was considered a totally valid concept. No one was sitting there going, that sounds horrible.
Well, it's like the genetic design children that are coming. Where do you think that theory of it is? Yeah.
Oh, they're here. Like they started that back in the 90s?
They've started the experiments. They haven't started the actual like mass market, we can walk in, order a brown hair, brown eyed, 5'2" baby boy, born in the sign of Aries.
No, I think you pretty much could. It's not that big of a hop, skip, jump, and leap. Like one, we are already technically, if you're having in vitro fertilization, that you are being implanted with a number of embryos at any given time. Generally, they're going to know the sex of those embryos or have a good idea. More importantly, though, to the whole thing is, they're looking at the genetic structures there, and even, no, maybe not exactly at the point of implantation, but within the first month or two, they're going to do genetic testing to make sure this child is not going to be born with Down syndrome, that this child does not have any severe physical defects. They're going to be able to, with that genetic profile, tell you a lot about this child.
Right.
Within a range, it's not perfect.
Right.
Like, there are influences that can change some things, but within a range, what color hair, what color eyes, how tall, intellectual aptitudes, within a range.
Right.
I think that's pretty much a designer baby at that point. Like, if you can opt to terminate a pregnancy because this kid's going to be tall,
right,
or have Down syndrome, or have a heart defect,
right,
that's pretty much a designer pregnancy. You're getting exactly what you want and not getting what you don't.
Right. But what I'm saying is, it's not gotten to where we can just hop on Amazon and order the child, which is what we originally envisioned for this process.
Oh, yeah. That basically human reproduction would cease to require sexual activity.
Right.
It would just be a factory concept.
Right.
That, much like you can customize your Tesla and have it delivered to your door, you'd pretty much go online or something they're akin to. It's been many, many years since the original idea. It was not quite pre-internet, but pre-modern internet.
Right.
So it was more so the idea that you were going to catalog order a child and made of superior genetic material to get you exactly what you wanted, which was this perfect, healthy, whatever you wanted it to look like, super intelligent being.
Right.
Without all the fuss and muss and guesswork of, good old fashioned backseat romping.
Right. But we haven't gotten to that full concept they've gotten to yet.
No, but I still think we're
right.
It's not too far off of what we're doing.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Now, have your children go through and look at the top 100 movie stars and see how many of those are fitting that concept. That'll be an interesting experiment, Shannon, for them.
Yes.
All right, guys. One of these nights, and it may be a barista chat night, and we'll talk about other history tie-togethers that you may not see happening. I think that'd be a good topic. Make a note of it, John.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. So with that, guys, we do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors and our supporters, the baristas. We love your coffee brewing skills. You help us cook up everything at least 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes more. There was a nice improv today, unboxing from Lady Gwendolyn. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. Those were some very pretty decks. If you didn't catch that, go check that out. That is absolutely awesome.
Yep.
So, all right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yeah. And guys, I do want to let the baristas know that yes, you no longer have to go searching for the card of the day, the affirmation of the day, the angel of the week. Those will be posting directly into your Patreon area per your request.
Very awesome.
Yes. So with that, guys, we will see you Sunday. You will see us Saturday with Psychic that Plans Budget Edition. But you will see us on Sunday with Psychic that Plans. Bye, y'all.
Bye.